Hello all, welcome to IBM Spectrum Protect Secure Communication Technical Webinar. I am Fazlur Rahman from IBM Spectrum Protect Support Team. In this presentation, I am talking about use of secure communication protocols in IBM Spectrum Protect 718 and 812 and later versions. Next, I am moving to the agenda, slide 2. Today, we would be discussing about Secure Socket Layer SSL and Transport Layer Security TLS protocol overview and types of certificates in Spectrum Protect and security enhancements in the version 718 and 812.
Fazlu, one sec. Is everyone able to hear us?
Getting low voice from Lucy.
Voice is very faint.
Okay.
Fazlur Subrata here, your voice is very faint.
Okay.
We are trying to get Fazlu to a clearer voice. Please hold on.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, Fazlu.
Is it fine now?
It is better, it is better.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so we can resume. Fazlu, you can go on.
Yes, sure, Amit. Thank you. Sorry for the inconvenience. So we are talking about the agenda, today's agenda. Today we would be discussing about secure socket layer SSL and transport layer security TLS protocols, overview, and types of certificates in Spectrum Protect and security enhancements in the version 718 and 812 and later versions. Also, we would be discussing a manual configuration steps to set up secure socket layer and TLS between server, client, and storage agent and the operation center. Also, we would be discussing few known issues and the troubleshoots. Next, I'm moving to the next slide overview and then move to the next slide for these slides. These slides gives overview of secure socket layer SSL and transport layer security TLS and about GS kit. What is SSL and TLS? SSL is a standard technology for creating encrypted sessions between server and the client. Using SSL, you can ensure that your data is encrypted during the communication. This means using these protocols, data can be encrypted and nobody can read your data and change during the communication between server and the client and the storage agent. With this secure communication, you can protect your storage environment from security threats and risks. Now coming to the TLS, Transport Layer Security is a successor protocol to SSL. In simple words, we can say it is improved or advanced version of SSL. Beginning with IBM Spectrum Protect 718 and 812 versions, TLS 1.2 protocol are in use and made as a default, which is more secured protocol with additional features. By default, TLS is used only to encrypt authentication and metadata, while the TCP/IP protocol is used for data transmission. Next, coming to the GS Kit, IBM Global Security Kit is a common component that is used by a number of IBM products. Spectrum Protect uses GSKit key management APIs to create a key database files and stores a unique private and public certificate in it. Using GSKit, key database files are managed. Next, I'm moving to the next slide, 5. Here, the picture shows us secure socket layer SSL or TLS protocols are used to provide secure connection between IBM Spectrum Protect server, client, storage agent, and the operation center. Each Spectrum Protect server or storage agent has a unique private key or a unique signed certificate that is used to allow SSL connections. Starting with the Spectrum Protect 718 and 812 versions, the self-signed certificate for each server or storage agent is automatically distributed to all the clients, storage agents, and the server that use SSL to communicate with it. The certificates are verified by the SSL client or that server that requests. Next, moving to the slide 6, types of certificates. In the Spectrum Protect, mainly we use two types of certificates to secure the communication. One is self-signed certificate and other is certificate authority, CA, which is a third-party certificate. You can use either a self-signed SSL certificate or third-party certificate authority CA. Coming to the self-signed SSL, a self-signed certificate consists of a public or private key pair and a certificate for the public key that is signed by the private key. Also, this is known as a root certificate. About the third-party certificate, CA, you can also use this third-party CA certificate to secure communications. GSKit provides a collection of third-party root certificates from well-known CA companies. If the server is going to use certificates from third-party CA whose root certificates is not shipped with GSKit, then third-party CA root certificates must be imported to both the server and the client key database files. In this presentation, I am covering only about self-signed certificate. For CS certificates, you can refer the documents in the reference slides. Next, I am moving to the slide 7. So, CRT.ARM and CRT256.ARM files are the IBM Spectrum Protect server self-signed certificates. If you are using TLS 1.2 protocol, then self-signed CRT256.ARM file being used, which is set as a default starting from IBM Spectrum Protect 718 and 812 versions. In this case, if your server is using a CRT.ARM self-signed certificate, that means TLS 1.1 is being used. Ensure that you are using the correct certificates and set as a default certificate on the Spectrum Protect server. The default label in the Spectrum Protect key database are shown below. CRT.ARM indicates that label is TSM server self-signed key. For CRT 256.ARM, the label is TSM server self-signed SHA key. For standard installations, these files can be found in the below directories for Unix and Windows. Next, I'm moving to the slide 8. This slide talks about server key database files and their labels. Spectrum Protect certificates are placed into TrustStore automatically with an identified label as shown below. CRT.KDB is the Spectrum Protect server key database file and DSM CRT.KDB is the client database file, whereas GUI-truststore.jkm for operation centers. All these server CRT files are stored in the server instance directory and contains the server private key and certificates. Next, moving to the next slide, client key database files, slide 9. This slide talks about the client key database files. DSM CRT files are the Spectrum Protect client files which are stored in the following path for Unix and Windows platforms. These files are created during the new installation of the client and these files are used for SSL communication. DSM CRT.KDB file contains the server public certificate and DSM CRT.STH is the stash file that contains the key database file password in it. And DSM CRT.IDX is the index file which maps the server IP to the certificate label in key database file. And these files can be found in the following directories for API and BA client. Next, I'm moving to the slide 10. This slide talks about GSKit and their usage. IBM Global Security Kit provides a libraries and utilities for SSL and TLS communications. When you use Spectrum Protect products or other IBM products, it is recommended to use the same GSKit version to avoid compatibility issues. You can identify GSKit version by running following commands. For Windows, you can check the registry, and for Unix, you can run the command gsk8vert_64 command. Below are the GSKit versions shipped with Spectrum Protect. GSKit 8.0.50.78 is the latest level shipped with the Spectrum Protect 718 and 812 versions. Next, coming to the next slide about security enhancement. Next, move to the slide 12. In this slide, we are discussing about security enhancements. Beginning with IBM Spectrum Protect version 718 and 812, you no longer have to manually configure certificates between storage agent, client, and for server-to-server communication. Certificates are automatically configured. In previous Spectrum Protect versions, SSL was option. Certificates need to be manually installed and server must be restarted. First, at session start, server checks for the copy of the certificate in the server database and then certificates are communicated via server-to-server SSL and protected via password. Then the certificates are placed into the TrustStore with an identified label. And for Spectrum Protect server, TrustStore is CRT.KDB and for client and API is DSM CRT.KDB and for Operation Center is GUI-truststore.jkm. This works for all the server-to-server connect sessions. If you are defining server-to-server communication, then make sure you use cross-define equal to S option in the define server command for bidirectional exchange of the certificates. Next, I am moving to the slide 13, continuation of the enhancements 718 and 812. Certificates exchange is available only for sessions between 718 and 812 and later server versions using V2 authentication. Here, V2 authentication means two-way authentication from both the entities. For example, from server to client and client to server. A new session security parameter describes whether a node or administrator use the most secure settings to communicate with Spectrum Protect server. This parameter either set to state or as transitional. Here, state means enforcing security features TLS 1.2 between two entities. Transitional means TLS 1.2 is not enforced. You can use this option for down-level nodes or administrators. Also, you can use following commands to update session security parameter for below entities. For example, register node, define server, update node, update admin, etc. In the Spectrum Protect versions, encryption strength has increased to 256-bit AES for storing the nodes and admin passwords. And another new feature is beginning with 812, GSKit key stores are used to store all IBM Spectrum Protect passwords. In previous client versions, the IBM Spectrum Protect password was stored in the Windows registry for Windows clients, and for Unix it is stored in the tsm.pwd file. For more information about and securing the password, you can refer the below documents. Next, I am moving to the slide 14. Below are the new features added in Spectrum Protect 813 and 814 versions. For Spectrum Protect Storage Agent 812 or previous versions, SSL has to configure manually. Beginning with 813 level, SSL is automatically configured and exchange the certificates. Another new feature is default minimum password length has been changed from 0 to 8. Using set minimum password length server command, you can change the default password length if you required. Then I'm moving to the next slide 15. Then move to the next slide 16. In this slide, we are discussing how to configure the Spectrum Protect server to use SSL. Beginning with IBM Spectrum Protect 718 and 812 versions, the SSL is enabled automatically and no additional steps are required. Once you upgrade or install the Spectrum Protect server to 718 or 812 versions, you can verify the default label by running the following command, that is gsk8capi cmd _64 space crt space list dash db crt.kdb, the key database file of server, and then --. Review the output and ensure TSM's server self-signed SHA key label is set as a default certificate. If it is not the default, then run the below command to set the key as a default. Next, moving to the slide 17, continuation of the server SSL configuration. Once you set the default certificate, then re-verify the self-signed certificates with the below command. Now it should show self-signed SHA key. Then restart Spectrum Protect servers to verify the self-signed certificate messages. Then I'm moving to the next slide, 18. IBM Spectrum Protect client and server SSL configuration. In IBM Spectrum Protect 718 and 812, the SSL enabled automatically. No additional steps are required. In case if there is any issue in exchanging the certificates between server and client, then you can follow manual steps to use SSL and TLS. First, copy the Spectrum Protect server self-signed CRT256.ARM to the client machine. Then you can find this file in the below directories for standard installation. Next, moving to the slide 19. After you copy ARM file to the client machine, then add CRT256.ARM file into the client key database by using DSM-CRT utility. The command is dsm-crt-add-server name and -file equal to path of the crt.arm file. Once the server ARM file is imported, verify the key in dsm-crt.kdb file with the following command. Once you add server ARM file into the key database, you should see the server self-signed certificate with the server name or with an IP address as shown above. Then moving to the slide 20. After that, you try to connect server from the client, then check the query node definition. You should see the SSL is configured and session security parameter is set to strict. This confirms the SSL is configured successfully. And moving to the next slide about server-to-server configuration using SSL. In this slide, we will discuss how to configure server-to-server to use the SSL. If both the servers are using 8.1.2 or later versions, SSL is automatically configured between the servers and manual configuration is not required. To exchange the certificates automatically, define the server-to-server definition on both the servers and ensure cross-define is set to on so that certificates can exchange. Next, moving to the slide 22, continuation of the server-to-server SSL configuration. In case one of the servers using older versions earlier than 7.1.8 or 8.1.2, then you should follow manual steps to configure SSL. In this presentation, we are using two different Spectrum Protect servers, that is TSM 8.1.2 and TSM 8.1.3 to configure the SSL. Also, you can follow same steps if there is any issue in exchanging the certificate for new versions as well. First, create the server key database file by starting the server, then copy crt256.arm file for both the servers from TSM 8.1.2 to TSM 8.1.3 servers and vice versa. You can either copy ARM files into a different path or you can rename the ARM file with the server name. Then add the ARM file of TSM 8.1.2 into crt.kdb file on TSM 8.1.3 server with the following command. Then moving to the next slide 23, continuation of above configuration. In the same way, add crt256.arm of 8.1.3 TSM 8.1.3 server into TSM 8.1.2 server by running the following command. After adding the certificates on both the servers, view the certificates with the following command. Then it should show both the server certificates. It should show both the server certificates. The TSM server self-signed SHA key is a local server certificate and XX with the port number shows the other servers. Then restart both the servers. After that, run the define server command from both the servers as shown below. Next, moving to the slide 24. After that, verify the communication for both the servers by running the ping server command. Once you successfully configure all the steps, then check the server definition. It should show SSLS and session security is set to strict, which confirms SSL is successfully configured. Then coming to the slide 25. In this slide, we are discussing about configuring storage agent and Spectrum Protect server to use SSL. These manual steps are only applied to the storage agent 7.1.8 and 8.1.2 versions. Starting from the version 8.1.3, automatically certificates are exchanged. To configure the storage and the server, first initialize the storage agent using DSM STA set storage agent server command and ensure you use SSL equal to S option. Then copy crt256.arm file from Spectrum Protect server to storage agent and add into key database file on the storage agent by running the following command. Next, move to the next slide, 26. In the similar way, copy crt256.arm file from storage agent to Spectrum Protect server and add into the server key database file. After adding the certificates, verify it by running the following commands from both the server and the storage agent. Then restart the storage agent and the server. After that, run the define server command to establish communication between server and storage agent using SSL equal to S option. Once you successfully configure storage agent and the server, start using SSL and communication is secured. Next, I am moving to the slide 27. This slide talks about Operation Center and IBM Spectrum Protect Hub Server SSL configuration. To secure communication between Hub Server and Operation Center, you should add the TLS certificate of Hub Server to threshold file of the Operation Center. To do that, run the following command from the Hub Server with the server key database file. Then restart the Hub Server and verify the certificate. It should show TSM Server self-signed SHA key as shown below. Then moving to the next slide, continuation of this configuration. Stop the Operation Center, then cd to Operation Center install directory and run ikey command to add the Hub Server certificate to Operation Center. You can also use IBM Key Management Window tool, which is a graphical interface using ikeyman to add the certificates. Below is the command to add the certificates using the command line. Note here, ensure you need to use the same password that is created during the Operation Center installation. Once you add the certificates, then you can start the Operation Center and the SSL is configured and communication is secured. Then I'm moving to the next slide, 29, troubleshoot. In the troubleshoot part, we will be discussing few known issues, and let's move to the next slide, 30. Scenario 1. In this scenario, while importing server ARM file into the client may fail with error 482 storing the certificate errors. Here 482 means duplicate key, which means already crt256.arm file is existed. While adding ARM file to the client key database, ensure that you are using the correct server ARM file and import it. Also try to copy the ARM file to a different path or rename the ARM file with the server name so that it can easily identify with the server name. Next, moving to the slide 31, continuation of above scenario. Once you import correct file, verify that key in dsmcrt.kdb with the following command. It should show the correct self-signed key certificates. That is TSM server, server 1 self-signed key. Next, moving to the slide 22, scenario 2. In this scenario, we may face following errors during the server-to-server communication after upgrading the Spectrum Protect server to 718 levels. Here, GSKit returns code is 414, which means a bad certificate. Either of certificate is not using the correct certificate, or due to that we are facing these errors. To fix these errors, try to update the server with a force sync equal to S and session security equal to transitional parameter by running the following commands. If updating the server definition does not fix the issue, Then run the following command to list the key database keys from both the servers. Then move to the next slide, 33. It shows that source server is having the incorrect key, that is TSM server self-signed key. So for the target server, if you can see for the target server, it shows TSM server self-signed SHA key. To fix this, rename the crt.kdb file in the server instance directory. Then restart the server instance. It should create the new crt.kdb file. After that, update the server definition with the following command. Update server with the session security equal to transactional parameter. Then rerun the GSK 8 CAPI CMD underscore 64 command. It should show the correct key, that is TSM server self-signed SHA key. Next, moving to the slide. Next slide, 34. This slide talks about the DB2 known issue. After upgrading the server and the DB2 API client to 718 or later levels, you may face below errors while running the DB2 query commands. Checking the GSKit version from both root and DB2 users, it shows there is a mismatch in GSKit version. IBM Spectrum Protect client version 718 requires a minimum GSKit level 8.0.50.78. In this case, DB2 user shows GSKit version as 8.0.50.47 and DB2 use a local GSKit for their own security and for the IBM Spectrum Protect client to use the same local GSKit. Moving to the next slide. To fix this problem, you should create a symbolic link to access the latest GSKit version as shown below. In case above does not fix the issue, then try to run the following commands. Delete all DSM CRT files from the BA client directory, then copy CRT256.ARM file to the BA client directory from Spectrum Protect server, add the ARM file into the key database file. After adding ARM file, verify the key in DSM crt.kdb by running the following command, and then restart the DB2. Then rerun the DB2 query commands. It should start working. Next, moving to the next slide. Below are the DB2 known issues and additional information links which are helpful while configuring the DB2 API backups. Next, I am moving to the next slide, 37. In the newer versions, there are few restrictions. Here we can see there is a restriction of DSM ADMC. If you are trying to connect the Spectrum Protect 718 or 812 version with a lower level of client or admin, then you may face the problems or you may not able to connect. To fix the problem, upgrade the clients to 812 later levels, or you can update the node or admin definitions to session security equal to transactional parameter. Also, you can try to create a separate admin account to use the client and server which are using the older versions. Next, I am moving to the next slide. Here, there is another restriction in 718 and 812 of IBM Spectrum Protect for VE. The automatic certificate exchange with trust on first use is not available. To use the secure communication, you should manually import the server ARM files to Spectrum Protect VE Trust Store file. Starting from 813 level, trust on first use is available, so manual steps are not required. Next, I am moving to the next slide, 39. So here below are some important links for your reference. You can refer it. And then moving to the next slide, 40. This ends the presentation, and I hope this presentation was helpful to you all.